Welcome back to Journey to Novelist. This is the Camp NaNoWriMo April 2022 sprints. We are on day 10, and hopefully if you are doing these sprints, you have also done the exercises for today. So we are working on the first half of the middle of the novel, and we did some exercises to try to figure out what your character is thinking and what they're planning. So our first sprint here, and we're going to do 3 short sprints today. We want you to go ahead and write a scene where the differences between the old normal world that your character comes from and this new world stand out to the character, where they begin to notice the differences and it becomes very obvious to them. And go ahead and highlight those differences as part of your scene. So we're just going to do a 3-minute sprint, and we're just getting started on this scene, so you can come back to it at the end of these sprints and fill them in more to get your word count. So let's get going with this 3-minute sprint. Ready, set, and go. One minute remaining. And that is time. So that's the beginning of the first scene that is part of your middle section of your novel. So let's move on to our second sprint. And our second sprint is going to be about your main character meeting someone in this new world. It could be more than one someone's, but you need to have your character meet them and give some idea of how your character is reacting to them. You could even identify a little bit more about the character. there's a lot you can do with a scene like this. So let's go ahead and put 3 minutes on our clock again. And remember, we're just going to be starting these scenes today, and then you can come back after these sprints are done and continue writing on them. So if you're ready, set, start. One minute remaining. And that is time. So that is our second sprint. We have one more to go today, and we're going to make it a little bit longer. We are going to do a sprint where your main character realizes that one of those stepping stones they had planned, one of those things they thought they needed to do, was either going to be harder or easier than they thought it was going to be. But then what they're thinking here may or may not be true. They could be wrong. It might actually be harder, even though it looks like it could be easier. So keep that in mind as you're writing. In this whole section that we are writing right now for the first part of this week is your character reacting to their new world. And they're going to make mistakes. This might be one of them. So let's go ahead and put 4 minutes on the clock. And when you're ready, set, go. 2 minutes left. Less than 1 minute remaining. And that is time. So hopefully you have some starts on some scenes for today's writing. You can, of course, keep going. If you are working along with us, then you are working on scenes right now that happen before and during the midpoint of the story. Your character is reacting and learning and making mistakes and planning things and sometimes failing. And if you yourself are aiming for that 50,000 words like we aim for in November, then you need to hit that 16,670 word mark today. And so go back and expand those scenes that you started on today, add other ones, and come back tomorrow for day 11 exercises and sprints.